Not topical. I'm back with another show. Show number. Editing. First, starting off movie news. Obviously, got 2 big shows this week. What were they?
Oh, you're asking me?
Oh, he's Nate. I'm Strange Wang.
That's true. It was a Glass Onion, a Knives Out story.
Yes.
Which, I don't understand why he doesn't... I understand Knives Out is the name recognition. I think you should just call him a Benoit Blanc story. Like...
Yeah.
Because Knives Out was that one specific movie.
I dig that.
Anyways. And John Wick Chapter 4.
Starting with Knives Out. Yeah, I hate the title now after you said that. Because it's true. The whole knives in the circle thing, that was specifically for that movie.
Right.
I hate that.
Yeah.
So is the next one going to be a Knives Out Glass Onion story? Well, that's going to sound stupid as fuck. I don't like that one bit. I like the trailer, though. Having you watched it, and I rewatched it as well. And I kind of got like a fucking... what's that train movie? Death on a Nile. That's the sequel to it.
Oh, Murder on the Orient Express?
It kind of felt like that a little bit.
Well, these are all... That's the point. They're all Agatha Christie style, like...
Yeah, but I mean, like, murders taking place out of nowhere. And I was like, okay. Like, the first one, it felt so unique and original. Which I guess, like, he knew he was going to get murdered, so he called him in. So, maybe I'm making too much of it. But I love the cast.
Yeah, me too.
Big Dave.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, cast is incredible. I'm really stoked for it. I like how completely different the setup is from Knives Out.
Mm-hmm.
Knives Out, a Knives Out story. Because, yeah, it just keeps it fresh. This character that Rian Johnson has invented in Benoit Blanc, perfectly played by Daniel Craig, is wildly entertaining. He's fascinating. He's funny. He's quirky. He's like his own type of charismatic. It's like, and like, I mean, they even, like, Ransom makes fun of it, like calls him Colonel Sanders in the first movie, right? Oh. So it's like, he's someone that like can be poked fun at while still being serious, which is something I feel like a lot of screenwriters and filmmakers have a hard time balancing these days. So I'm absolutely here for it. And during the trailer, it had a bunch of title cards flash up giving adjectives that describe the movie. The one that stuck out to me the most was twistier. And it makes me excited and nervous at the same time, because if there's too many twists, then it just starts to be like, after like the second or third one, then it's just like, okay, like another twist. Like, just... there's only so much your chain can be yanked before you're like, that's enough. Like, let's get on with it, right?
Yeah.
But I trust Rian Johnson. I think he's a very good filmmaker and writer, so I'm absolutely here for it.
If you saw this averages in a porno, you would feel the same way. You would be excited and nervous at the same time. But one thing I read that I was like very happy to see was Batista was like, it was really good working with Daniel Craig on this movie, because the last time I worked with him, which would have been 007 Spectre, he was like, I don't know, he was to himself quiet, kind of grumpy.
Yeah. And
now that I like actually got to know him, work with him a little bit more, like, he hated being 007.
Yeah.
Like, he's a totally different person. So I'm glad he's happier in his life.
Yeah, I believe. And like, Daniel Craig has done silly stuff before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like
Tomb Raider.
Sure, yeah. And I was thinking of dang it, the Adam Driver, Channing Tatum,
Logan Lucky. That thing's fire.
Yeah, so like, he is fun. So I could see I could see him, Daniel Craig, being tired of having to be like super serious James Bond all the time, because he has a much broader range than that. I'm excited that he has this character to show that off. It's from a filmmaker who I think is responsible for, depending on the day, what I think is the 3rd or 4th best Star Wars movie. So like, this is phenomenal. It's original. He's making all this up on his own with nothing but just inspiration from previous murder mysteries. Like, this is, to me, this is what the movies need. And
I wish it was in theaters. So
even it is. It's spending 2 weeks in theaters before it goes to Netflix.
Really?
Starting Thanksgiving, I think. So like next week or the week after.
Can we go whatever?
It says limited screenings, but a movie like this, I doubt that that's going to be... Like, I feel like one of the 2 big theaters in our town will have that. So, I'm really stoked for it. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I can go see it in a theater. And I hope it works out.
I hope it also is a digital, like, physical media release, too.
Yeah. I'm sure it will. I think this is one of the ones that they'll do it for.
I went to Best Buy the other day, and they had fucking Criterions in the Best Buy.
Really?
And I was like, I've never seen Criterions straight up in the fucking Best Buy before.
Were they any good ones? Or were they only recognizable ones? Because Criterion has some like shit that nobody's ever heard of.
It was here and there. They had Blowout. Mm-hmm. They had a Japanese film, High and Low. Maybe. High and Low, I think it was. Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, okay.
And Power of the Dog, which is a Netflix movie, so...
Yeah.
Hey, if Knives Out comes on Criterion, fuck it. At least I get to buy it somewhere.
Yeah.
Another thing I was very happy to see and not hear about this movie, I should say. Edward Norton's not being a dick, so hopefully he'll get more roles. Goddamn Hulk fucked him up,
Yeah.
Fucking, it's like actors that no one wants to work with. Fucking Wes Anderson's like, come hang out with me. I understand you, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, that's true. Like, Norton and Murray, both people who have been known to be very difficult to work with, are just staples in Anderson movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Bill Murray. I think he's honestly just an asshole. A very funny one at that. So I don't care. Not everybody in the world is going to be a Jim, right?
What about Chevy Chase?
I don't like Chevy Chase. I don't really like his movies. Like, he's not... Chevy Chase is just not that funny to me. And like Ed Norton, but Edward Norton, I feel like most of the time he's difficult because he just has this creative idea and he wants control of his characters. And so people like Wes Anderson and Rian Johnson, I think, they are similar in that they are both very original, very creative. They're going to put their own spin on stuff. They're going to trust their actors to do good things. So like he probably works well with people like that, because instead of him going to a Marvel studio executive and being like, hey, I want to take a much deeper dive into the psyche and character of Bruce Banner than anyone's ever done before, and then being like, hey, we're making a movie about a big green guy who likes to smash things. Like, yeah. I would have been upset if I was him too. I probably would not have responded the way that he did, but it is what it is.
I don't know how deep you can get with that character.
I'm sitting on a couch talking about it. He's the one actually doing it. So, what good is my word?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he had a whole thing planned.
Yeah, but but the song for the Incredible Hulk TV show, when he's walking away and the credits roll,
mm-hmm.
that sad song, like, that shit's deep.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know about the character right there.
I mean, it is what it is.
Jeez. That was like the 70s, 80s. You ever watch that show?
Yeah. Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit crazy fire. Back in the day, that shit probably ass now, but you know what I thought was crazy fire?
What?
You mentioned it.
This is John Wick Chapter 4. Yeah.
Ooh! Man. If this movie delivers, if it's even good, greatest action franchise of all time.
Yeah.
With ease.
Yeah, I think that's really tough to argue, and I think the odds of it not delivering are incredibly slim.
Because it sets it up, and it doesn't show anything. Alright, I have to meet these guys. We set up a meeting. I have to fight this dude at this time. But he's a bad guy, so he's going to send people to prevent that.
Yeah, to try to keep me from getting there.
You see him look at his watch. He's like, alright, he's got to get to the time where he can fight the bad guy. Skarsgård, he's had a great career so far. His early career. It obviously fucking massive.
Mm-hmm.
He had Barbarian, another huge movie this year. So, he's doing great work. Chancey Brown, Mr. Krabs. Is that his father? I don't know. Maybe. It seemed like it.
Yeah.
But they pull the Jack Sparrow, your father's at the table type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think this is what actually work. It makes more sense. So how did he get in this life? They didn't just find him one day. his father was in this life, and it got passed down to him.
Was it? Well, I mean, it might be familial.
Like, the Jack Sparrow thing, just, like, it didn't really make sense to me. Because, like, if he's a pirate, he's fucking broad left and right. He don't know his dad. His dad don't know him for damn sure.
Well, I mean, unless I don't know.
If you're a pirate, you're not raising a fucking... Blackbeard's not raising this fucking kid. Be quiet, the baby's trying to sleep.
Well, yeah, unless he just gets this idea of, like, legacy in his head and things like that. And wants to, blah, blah, blah,
that
blah.
movie sucks anyways.
But, what movie?
Pirates of the Caribbean 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Well, I have to just make sure you weren't saying all of them in general, because that first one is
the first two are very good.
Very good. But yeah, it didn't explicitly say it's like his dad or something. It just said family.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, in the previous movies, his family has been like the weird wrestling Russian ballerina people. So it could just be like family,
Yeah,
but that's true. I think the thing is, most other movies, if all of a sudden it was like, oh, like your dad or your mom or there's some other outside, like there's a close but outside influence that just pops up out of nowhere, I'd probably be annoyed. This character is so interesting. If it ends up being like his real life dad or mom or something, and that gives us like some insight into John Wick. Like, they have spent 3 movies keeping him mysterious as shit. The only thing that we know about this dude is that he was a killer. He's the best one there ever was. He got out of it because he fell in love. She got sick and died. She left him a dog and he got killed. And then that brings us up to speed.
Yeah.
And then we know that somehow he got brought into the wrestling ballerina Russian family. And that there's people that he has history with that he runs into, and most of whom which he ends up having to kill because everyone just wants the money. The only thing that's confusing to me about the John Wick universe is that, like, it seems like the amount of people who live in this world that are assassins versus the amount of people that are just, like, working at fucking McDonald's. Yeah. It seems a little off. Because he's on the, like, at the end of, it's the end of 2? Whichever one he gets, like, excommunicated. End of the first one or the second one.
I don't remember.
Like, they're on the train, and it's like every single fucking person's phone is ringing about this bounty that's on John Wick now.
I think that's 2.
So, yeah, give me more. Give me more. And
well, this is the end for sure, right?
Well, that's what I was just thinking about. If this isn't the end, there can only be one more, I assume. But the other thing that I like about it is, this is all, like, they've all picked up right where the last one is left off. So this dude, like, he's
had a rough 2 weeks.
He's had a rough 2 weeks.
Whatever it is.
Or however long it's been, right? And they didn't show Halle Berry, but they showed the dog, so I'm assuming that she's back. Which,
Halle
like,
Berry, hallelujah.
I'm not a huge Halle Berry fan, but she was excellent in the last one. So, like, yeah, bring that character back. We know that she's got something with her daughter that she's trying to work out. So maybe we'll get some more of that if that's resolved. Yeah. Possibly a spinoff. I don't want a spinoff.
Did we ever get that hotel TV show spinoff that we were supposed to get?
The Continental? I don't know. I don't know when that was supposed to come. I just don't want them to spin anything off of this. Just let it be. Because I agree with you. If this one is like an 80% or higher movie, this is the best action franchise of all. Like, top to consistency,
it blows everything
top to bottom,
away.
Like it's hard. I don't understand how you could argue.
It's so smart because it gave you at that time one of the most interesting action movies of all time, just on what we did in the movie.
Yeah.
The second one, it was all story based. We're setting up this world. The third one was a perfect blend of that.
Right.
And it gave them time to rest on the action part. So you say all those cool action scenes where horses are kicking motherfuckers and the dude's throwing knives.
Right.
You say it for the third one. How are they going to give me something crazy with the knives or, like, action-wise again?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, they must be running out of stuff. But it's going to deliver, at least on the story. I think this is going to be like John Wick 3, where it's like a perfect blend of story and world building and action, I meant. Because 3 is my favorite one, without a doubt. But nothing comes close. Terminator. You got Terminator 1, Terminator 2. And 4 or 5 other movies who no one really gives a fuck about.
Right.
To me, Indiana Jones is not really too action-y. That's an adventure franchise. With action action's in it.
If we're talking pure action, then I agree. Like, yeah.
Mad Max, I wouldn't count Mad Max because Gibson is not in all the movies, and Tom Hardy is at Mad Max throughout all the movies.
Yeah.
But even if you do count that, number 3 sucks.
It's also not even clear if they're supposed to be the same Max or if it's like a reboot or like,
Well, George Miller directed all of them, so that's the questions for that guy. But the third one sucks. Nobody wants to see Tina Turner in the Thunderdome. Nobody wants to see that shit. What else we got? Predator. You got the first Predator and Prey. And the 4 or 5 movies in between, no one gives a fuck about. Aliens, not really even a action franchise. It's a horror.
It switches around.
And then it goes to action, so you can't count that.
Lethal Weapon has some stinkers.
Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, great. Third one, is fine. Fourth one, not good unless you're a fan. But even that, you got 2 mediocre movies and 2 good movies.
Yeah.
That will not compete.
Die Hard shit the bed some.
John Wick, as much as I love Lethal Weapon, and Lethal Weapon is my favorite action movie of all time, or 1 or 2, that would be the hardest list I would ever have to make. But like when it comes to like movie wise, John Wick 3, Lethal Weapon, John Wick, and then the rest of Lethal Weapons.
Wait, you're just talking about action movies, period?
Between those 2 franchises?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
John Wick's are much better. Like, if you're comparing Rotten Tomatoes scores,
yeah,
the ball's in John Wick's corner.
Yeah.
And then what you got? You said Die Hard, 1 and 3.
Yeah, they have some real stinkers.
5 sucking awful, unwatchable. Ain't nobody tuning in. Nobody's gonna be like, let me watch Under Siege over John Wick. No one's saying that.
Yeah, it's true. Rush Hour is wishy-washy.
Well, that's more action comedy, but still, 3's garbage. Nobody wants to watch 3. I hate 3.
I like 3. But, I mean, it's fine.
3 sucks. Anyways.
Yeah, I agree with you.
First time of all time, probably.
Yeah, it probably is. I can't imagine it not being good. I really can't. So,
like, even Bruce Lee's movies, they weren't continuous. So, like, there's not a franchise he's got that you can even argue. I mean, Police Story, I guess Jackie Chan's got Police Story 1 and 2. I think there's a third one that came out, like, last year, but nobody's trying to watch that shit last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. So to finish my thought, I interrupted myself on it, but like, and no, it was your fault. I trailed off too. But in terms of his backstory goes, we know that little bit that we talked about, but they like, if they're gonna give it to us, I don't mind it now because you just let me sit with him for 3 movies without cramming any of this other stuff about who he is down my throat. So it's like now that I've had time to just enjoy the world, enjoy the character, I'm good with like getting to know him a little bit deeper now, right? It's like a real life, you don't necessarily want to meet someone and then just have them like spill their guts about their whole life story to you. Like, you got to test the waters first. You got to figure out like, what surface level shit do I have in common with this person? And then you like slowly get deeper until you like develop an actual relationship with someone. Where some movies are just like, here's everything about this guy in 30 minutes. And you can't care about someone that quickly because you just heard all of it. Yeah. And it's like, so I think now is a perfect time to dig deeper. But also, if they don't and they just leave him as this kind of vague person that we just know a little bit about, to leave him super mysterious, I'm good with that too. I don't need John Wick's backstory. But if that's where they're going, it's a good time for it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, more movie news. Just the movie news, man.
I did not really look at movie news today, but because there were a handful of movies where he did it, I think we talked about how important Kevin Conroy was to us for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I rewatched Mask of the Phantasm this week. I will never complain about watching Mask of the Phantasm because it's an excellent movie. And then Kevin Conroy died, and then I thought about it, and I was like, I'm gonna watch that shit again. It's still fire. But like, so obviously not exclusively movie news because the TV show came first.
Yeah.
But he was so fucking good.
Like, there was a point in my life where Kevin Conroy's Batman was probably 70% of my action figures.
Yeah.
At a point. Like, why I had so many Batman, I don't know, like Batman fighting Batman.
Yeah, but no, still, for sure. I did the same thing. I had I had a couple
few 89s. Maybe Returns.
Oh, nice.
Maybe Returns, who knows?
So Michael Keaton was just the bad guy to all your Kevin Conroy Batman?
Yeah, you know, like, different Batman did different things, you know? So, like...
Well, yeah.
This Batman can't fit in the hang glider or whatever the fuck, so...
Oh, you talking about, like, the wings that... Yeah, dude, I had 2 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't fit all of them.
And, like, that one... It was definitely a Keaton one. It had the thing from his chest. That little thing goes through his arm, so, like, you hook it on something and it shoots up. But it's a toy from the fucking 80s and 90s, so it didn't really work by the time it got to me.
Right.
So I was like, it was a fuck.
Yeah, I had Batman toys that, like... they were just made up toys. Like, it was Kevin Conroy's Batman, but, like, they just made suits up.
Yeah.
Or, like, gadgets and things like that. Like, I had a Batman that, like, launched some, like, weird plasma ray thing or something. I had two of the... Because the Batman that came with, like, the wings that hooked onto him, he was just, like, generic, like, gray suit Batman.
Yeah.
But it did fit some other ones, but it never fit the ones that I wanted it to. But it's like... When you're sitting there playing with that shit, and you're making up these little Batman stories in your head, it's Kevin Conroy's voice that you, like,
100%.
Obviously your squeaky little, like, prepubescent voice doesn't sound like him, but, like, that's what you hear in your head, because he was fucking Batman.
Fucking, the weirdest one I ever gotten was, it was a 2-pack of Poison Ivy, and for whatever reason, Batman was green. It was a green suit. He was with Poison Ivy. And, you know, I guess that was it.
I feel like I had a...
I guess that's the only connection.
I had this one... I don't know what you call the pattern. I've seen it on other stuff before. But I think it was...
Similar to camouflage. Not really camouflage. Just it's all green.
And,
like, dark green tights.
Yeah. I think I did have that one. I had another one where I think it was, like, blue and black. But the pattern was basically just a bunch of triangles. And I was just like, I have no clue what this Batman was from. This makes me want to go back and, like, just Google 90s Batman action figures and see.
There's a wrestler that watches vlogs. He does toy hunting vlogs. And he collects Power Rangers, Batman, Spider-Man animated series, X-Men animated series. But he finds all of them on card. Mint on card, that means it's on the package. If you don't know, now you know.
Right.
And he opens them up and, like, shows off, like, those weird figures and shit. But he makes a commercial at the end of the video. After he gets the whole collection, he'll, like, unbox all of them, take them out of the package, and, like, do stuff with them, and then make a 90s retro commercial.
Nice.
And
extreme.
But, like, just seeing, like, homeboy going through fucking toy stores and, like, seeing shit that I had as a child, like, I love that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't go and, like, rebuy everything. But there's a couple of times where it's like I was seeing something much, I was like, man, I wish I still had that. I really want to Bob the Goon. If you want to send me Bob the Goon in package.
Is that I'll exists?
Take that. Yes.
I assume.
And it's on the box, Bob the Goon. Like,
nice.
89.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
I had I can't remember what you call them, but it's probably like, maybe like 1.5 feet tall.
12-inch figures.
Yeah, I guess maybe it was 12 inches. I guess in my head it was taller, but it was a Batman. And, like, it didn't have, like, a ton of articulation. Like, I think the arms move, and that's, like, it. Because it's made to just sit on a stand, right?
Yeah.
But anytime I played with my Batman toys, I always just made up this story where the Joker, like, hit Batman with some, like, fucking gas bomb or something that, like, made him giant, because that would just be really inconvenient for Batman to be huge. And then all the other Batman had to figure out how to make him small again. But
you got my brain going on. Like, there's got to be some weird things on here. Here's some weird ones. Robin with a fucking samurai sword. You got neon Batman.
Yeah, I feel like that generic one, that's really close to the one that came with the...
I had that 89, and I had that one. Why Batman was in a
Why is he in purple? I mean, it's dope.
It's not even purple. It's fucking garnet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It looks purple for me. It looks like fuchsia.
That, like, knitted Batman inner suit.
Fuchsia.
And look at these nematodes.
Oh, yeah, Batman. I had that one. He came with, like, some vehicle.
Probably snow.
It was a Batwing. That's the one that I was thinking about. Yeah, I had that one. The gold one looks familiar. I definitely didn't have the orange one.
I had the orange one.
But I had the two on the end. And it's just like, what is that even from? Oh, I had that one. Yeah. Maybe that one came with something too. That one came with like a. I remember, man, dude, this is blowing my mind. So this one came with a snow version of the Batmobile, because the grill of it had that same like pattern that's on his gut right there. Man, this is wild.
We needed to go to like a vintage toy store.
This is just like
soon.
Entire childhood rushing back into my brain.
That's what we need. That was my favorite one. That like fucking like aqua blue.
Oh like, yeah.
Batman with that bright yellow belt. That was fucking amazing. Yeah, we need to go to a vintage toy store and just to go ooh and ah.
Yeah, there's also
all this like retro shit.
Terrible visual podcast where we just scroll through.
Yeah.
Batman
Who gives
stuff.
a fuck?
But
7 people watching this.
I haven't paid attention to the. I know Wakanda Forever is like crushing the box office right now. Yeah. I haven't looked at the numbers or anything like that. That's totally expected. I haven't seen it. I'm just gonna wait for it to be on Disney Plus because I haven't gone to see any Marvel movies from this new phase, and
you don't need any of this
I don't
movie.
Really want to. But is it bad?
No, so Phase 4 is my second favorite.
What's your first favorite?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, well, I have seen that. That's the only Phase 4 movie I've seen.
Like, it's kind of, what's the word? I don't know the word. Behind the scenes. So, I was like, Chris, can you, because I looked at Phase 4 and I was just going to do like a quick little ranking on TikTok with pictures, and I didn't have to talk about these movies. I could just throw the picture up and be done with it.
Yeah.
And I looked at Phase 4, and all the TV shows are in Phase 4, too. And I was like, fuck, I guess I include those. So I told Chris, I'm like, yo, you're up to date on this Marvel shit. Give me your list. So I sent him the picture that I had, ranked all the Phase 4 joints. I switched a couple things around. But, yeah. So on TikTok, you want to see the list.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because I went to the movies today and saw what I thought was a terrible movie.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Not talking about Wakanda Forever. I saw Ticket to Paradise. But the theater was...
Where'd you go?
Regal Grand.
Why? You don't have AMC anymore?
I do. It was the movie time that worked out today. And we had a gift card too, so I still don't have to pay for it.
Nice.
But the theater was packed because they had like 3 showings of Wakanda Forever.
I've never seen the AMC so full in my life.
Yeah, and I love that. So it's like, I don't care about the movie, but I love that it's getting people to go to the movie theater. Like, I'm absolutely down for that.
Because we talked about it on the last podcast we did, show whatever the fuck this is called. During our chat with Bozeman Top 5.
Yeah.
I still can't say his name.
Bozeman
Top 5. That when that came out, the theater was fucking packed, and it was only packed that way for Star Wars movies. Because at that time, like 2 Star Wars movies came out. But that AMC got shut down. So this new AMC, bro, both sides were fucking filled. Filled up to the top of that Mexican restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, it took me a minute to find a parking place.
Nice.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You had people parking in front of the door, letting the old ladies out.
Yeah. It was really funny because I could also tell that it was getting a lot of people to the theater that haven't been to the theater in a minute, because there was a group of people. The youngest one was probably like 36, 37 maybe. But the oldest one was like maybe 50. So like a bunch of people in their like late 30s and 40s.
Masked up like Lucha Libre.
And they were not wearing masks. But they were all upset at this one guy because he hadn't been to a theater in so long. He didn't understand how like the whole seat reservation thing works now. So he thought he was just going to show up and get a ticket to like the hottest movie in theaters on a day that it's absolutely packed out. Yeah. And then so they were all having a debate on whether or not they were just going to ditch him and go see the movie anyways, which is what I would have done.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if they were going to
tough luck,
try to figure something else out. But it was really funny because they were like ribbing the shit out, like joking with him, but they were like tearing him apart.
Bro, if you can't talk shit about your friends, they're not really friends. That's how I view it. Like, if you ain't got thick skin, don't talk to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I also think, like, when you really get to know your friends, you know what stuff is off limits.
Exactly.
Yeah, but...
Fucking...
And then once you're deep enough friends, like, there's just not really anything that's off limits. But
I love roasting people. That's one of my favorite things in this world. Just sitting down and making fun of one another. It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
It can be.
Fucking... You know who likes making fun of people?
Who?
Tom Segura.
Oh.
And you know who was on his podcast?
You?
Andrew Tate. Now I would love to be on his podcast. We have a lot more views than I was on his podcast.
That's true.
Andrew Tate. You know who Andrew Tate is?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Andrew Tate?
I know who he is. I don't know.
Same thing. The only time I ever saw him was on that podcast.
Yeah.
And apparently he's like a misogynistic, woman hater, whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
I mean, the only reason I know his name is because people have been blasting him on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't get on Twitter. I don't know. People hate the motherfucker. He's the most hated person in America, right?
Okay.
At this point, he doesn't even live here. I don't know where he lives. He doesn't live here. But he said, I think it's in Romania. I think that's where he lives. For whatever reason.
Tax evasion.
I don't know. Who gives a fuck? I wish I had enough money that I could make an excuse for tax evasion. Call me Wesley Snipes.
You can make any amount of money and still evade taxes.
I want to make enough money where it's meaningful. Like, I'm making fucking peanuts over here. Click an ad. I get a few more peanuts in my pocket. But yeah, whatever. He doesn't live in America. But people hate him. I don't get on the computer that much, so I don't really know. But for what I gathered from that little Snapchat story I saw, that's where I get all my news from, on the Snapchat stories. So he says shit to give men confidence about themselves, but he says in the worst way possible.
Okay.
To make people hear it and notice it and watch it and click on it. But he really respects women in like an old Southern 1980s way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
tell me more.
Like the men works, the women stays home and takes care of everything.
That's not respecting women.
Traditional roles is what he is about, I guess.
But we have like evolved to a point to where we can understand that that is not correct. To say that this is absolutely the only way it is supposed to be.
Well, no, he's saying... Well, I don't know what he's saying. What I've gathered from that clip was... If that's the type of person you want to be, this is how you have boundaries and whatnot. But he says in like the most offensive way possible. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm bringing that up to set the stage. He is now apparently boxing the other most hated person in the world.
Oh, the Paul guy?
Logan Paul. I think that's the one.
Well,
no, Jake. One of them wrestles now. And I don't know. I don't watch WWE really, so I don't know which one. One of them, the Meteor one.
I think it's Logan Paul's.
Yeah.
I think
they're having a fucking boxing match.
Well, that's really good for Paul's career. Because
he's like a kickboxer, it said. He's a world champion kickboxer, fucking Andrew Tate.
Really?
He's a bad motherfucker. They were showing clips. He was fucking, had his leg 10 feet in the air, fucking spinning and shit.
Good for him. But, I mean, Paul is hated because he's just like a douchebag. If this dude is hated because he's being like sexist as fuck, in like the worst time in human history to be sexist as fuck, if Paul goes in there and wins, it's like, hey, he beat the guy that everyone really hates. So for someone who is already pretty loathed on the internet, not a bad move for him.
I think it's funny people actually watch the celebrity boxing shit. But also...
You think it's rigged?
Probably. Not rigged.
Because who did he fight last?
Anderson Silva.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think it's... So, sometimes I don't think it's rigged.
I don't think it's rigged.
I think it's a payday and no one really gives a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they're both making a shit ton of money just by doing it.
Like, should Anderson Silva be in there and fucking fight his fucking heart out at 50 years old and train as hard as he possibly can to get him back to fighter shape.
No, which is why I think
to take more blows to the head.
Yeah.
No, he went in there and fucking
bang,
bang, boom.
No,
I'm gonna lay down for a little while.
He probably went to the gym.
I think people sandbag
5 times a week.
Like Tyron Woodley, he probably sandbag. He's like, I ain't fighting. Like, bro, I'm fighting fucking UFC fighters. I'm gonna sandbag for this guy and like save my energy for a real fucking fighter, because that's gonna get my next fight more views.
Right. Well, I think they also know that nobody, regardless of whether Paul wins or not, everyone is gonna say it's rigged. Everyone is gonna say that someone's sandbagged.
If someone knocks him out, like if Paul loses.
No, I'm saying as long as he wins, everyone is gonna say this stuff.
But
whether it's true or not. So if I'm someone who is already a professional fighter of some capacity, I don't give a shit if I lose to this guy, because like everyone's gonna say it was bullshit anyways. So why would I put in all this effort when I could just show up, half-ass it, and collect a massive fucking paycheck?
I think that's why Tyson ain't fought. Tyson, he wouldn't have laid down.
No, well, and that's the thing is like,
because he got in shape to fight Daniel Cormier. I think that's the guy he fought. No, Daniel Cormier is a UFC fighter.
Right. He
fought some like boxer who like was also retired but younger than him in that little training exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember hearing the Joe Rogan thing where he's like, "Man, I had Tyson on my podcast, and he was cool. He was relaxed. Not the person I think I was going to meet. And then he was training for the fight, and I had him back on the podcast to promote the fight. He scared me shitless."
Yeah, he's got that Michael Jordan type thing where it's like, when it is like like they are in control of they can convince themselves that like, you offended the shit out of them, whether you did or not. Yeah.
Like, just hearing Tyson's like interviews back in the day, just fucking, it was like jaw dropping. Like, I want to eat his children.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's nuts. But
the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, if he fought someone, fought someone like Mike Tyson, or like if like Conor McGregor got the right weight to box this dude,
he would sandbag.
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would sandbag.
I think he wants to be the one to shut him up. Like, the dude loves a paycheck, and I think Conor McGregor is like full of shit enough to like play the game. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, "Fuck this motherfucker," and then just like.
So, I don't know. It's very curious because like they've been talking shit about one another on the internet for a really long time. So, negotiating this fight is going to be huge. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's very interesting.
But the other thing about it is, there's also a chance that this dude is actually halfway decent at boxing. Like,
oh yeah,
it's literally what he spends all of his time doing now. I mean, like, he's got his podcast and shit, but it's like,
I think the other one has a podcast. I don't think that one's got a podcast.
Whatever, the other one's on there sometimes. I don't know which one's which, but he's out. He's fucking training. He's sparring with people who know what they're doing.
He's good. Like, he's like Mickey Rourke. You know what I'm saying?
He's got the body for it.
Like,
the Stepping Stone guy.
No, Mickey Rourke's an actor.
I know who Mickey Rourke is, but
start fighting.
Yeah.
That's how I got all fucked up.
I understand. I know who Mickey Rourke is.
Like, he wouldn't be in the spotlight fighting the people he's fighting if he wasn't good. Like, Mickey Rourke kept fighting because he was actually pretty decent. Same thing with Paul.
Yeah, but he's still a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Like, you're the guy who's good enough. Like, your skills are up to par to where, like, you deserve to be in this league, but you're going to be nothing more than for someone else to try to get a number one contender spot.
Yeah. But, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that they were fighting because they're both, like, from what everyone knows them from, are, like...
Internet personalities.
Yeah. The two of the most hated people on the internet.
So it's like a real-life MTV celebrity deathmatch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. People are really fucked with the Andrew Tate guy, though. Like, the shit he was saying is interesting. Because everyone kicks him off social media and whatnot.
Yeah.
He's been banned from Instagram, this, that, and third. But people keep putting him on this podcast. Because there's a huge amount of people on there that believes what he says.
sounds dangerous. Then again, I don't...
How's that dangerous, though? That's what I don't get.
Well, if he's really as bad as people are saying,
like,
then it's not good that they're listening to him.
Like, let those people... Because those people are delusional. Like, that guy, if he has all that money and drives Bugattis or whatever the fuck he says, all that shit, he's in a different world. He's messing with different women that these average Joes are messing with.
Sure.
Let them have their fun and listen to him. Because to me, what he's doing is no different from Howard Stern and what he did in the 90s and that lunacy. People that was listening to Howard Stern, they weren't getting laid like that, I don't think. Like, yeah, well, the audience of Howard Stern. That's like saying, saying Clown Posse's a gang. Bro, let them little people paint their face and drink their Flago. And, like, I watched a Vice documentary on, like, the people that go there. Like,
Juggalos and Jiggalettes?
Yeah, they're not fucking tearing up pussy. I'll tell you that right now.
Maybe within their circle.
In their circle. And that's fine, because those are like-minded people. But it's like, they're not reaching.
But they didn't ask to be... Like, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just fans of a...
Well, they're fans of a podcast. They're not doing anything wrong.
There's a difference.
They're fans of a radio show. They're not doing anything wrong.
But the way that you were describing it, they are listening to it because they are also sexist and or misogynistic.
Well, then St. Cloud Posse probably says some really disgusting things that you could categorize in there.
Right, but no one is, like, buying into that.
I don't know what they're buying. I don't fucking listen to them. I don't listen to anyone that don't know how to work magnets.
That isn't what?
They don't know how to work magnets. They don't know how magnets work. That was an Eminem lyric or some shit. It was like...
Nice.
It's like, I don't know how magnets work, or like, magnets are amazing, whatever the fuck. Just let the motherfuckers have their fun. That's why I don't understand why people get so mad about dumb shit. Let a motherfucker be stupid.
Well, because that shit just shouldn't exist anymore. People are tired of living in a world where, like...
I think people are delusional. Everyone has a little delusion in them. You're probably the most non-delusional person I know.
And you know what? Getting this way, not that fucking hard.
Like I'm not going to say everything I feel, but if a motherfucker's stupid enough to believe the earth is flat, if he wants to promote a movie that says the Holocaust didn't exist, let Kyrie do that. Who gives a fuck? You don't want to get vaccinated?
Because other people see famous people and then they believe that shit. They buy into it. Why do we need anything else in the world making people dumber than they already are?
He believes the earth is flat. Who listens to the guy? If you listen to that guy,
but people do listen to it. Because there are other people who, like, listen, there are people... Here's something non-delusional for you. It's a fact that I have had to accept about the world. And it is, unfortunately, a fact. There are people on this planet who are borderline incapable of forming an original personal thought or view about the world. So they latch on to what anyone on the fucking internet that is even remotely famous says, and they just adopt that. Like, they are a blank slate that needs some lunatic to paint on it. Okay, I don't like that people like that in the world exist. Okay, I think if maybe they have been raised better, or like whatever traumatic thing happened in their childhood to make them that way hadn't happened, that would be great. But if there are people who are like that on this planet, then we don't need dumbass motherfuckers out there just saying stupid shit for them to just latch onto.
Survival of the fittest. Fuck them.
But that doesn't work. Because you can't just go around killing people. And with it, like, there's so much government assistance now, like, people who were too dumb to take care of themselves are still going to survive because everyone feels bad for them and takes care. Survival of the fittest doesn't exist anymore. Like, it might exist within some, like, small circles in terms of, like, competitive jobs. Like, if you're a stockbroker, survival of the fittest is probably a thing that exists within your field. But, like, on a whole, that shit doesn't exist anymore. And I'm not saying it should.
Like, I don't know. I feel like when that recession hits... You think that recession's coming? I think it's coming.
I hope it's coming. I need this housing market to crash again.
I need to hurry the fuck up.
Like, me and my wife both have really stable jobs, in fields that are not going to go anywhere anytime soon. So my income is not going to personally be affected. So anytime that the housing market wants to crash and I can buy a dope ass house for really fucking cheap, I'm here for it. So
I'm ready for it to hit and be over with. But the guy that wants to buy those shoes from you, he said he's interested. I told him the same thing I told you. I said, hey, stock market slow, shoe market slow too. Everything's going for cheap. When that shit's over with, those shits will be up past 1,000 again.
Good for him.
And he said he wanted pictures of them. He's interested.
Oh, so okay, fine.
Send me some pictures of that guy.
I only paid $200 for them, so I'm making my money either way.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if that's how it works and it goes down the line and he wants to make did that tell you 600?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
You should have said 650 and gave me the 50.
I figured, I just, honestly, I just assumed in my head, and I almost said this to Anna, I just assumed you were going to tell him 700 or 650.
Nah, it's you.
Well, I wouldn't care. If I get, as long as I'm getting what I asked, I don't give a fuck if you...
Nah, if it's anybody else, I'll scrape off the top. But I feel like we have a respect for one another, that unless we're into something together... Like we were a few times, investing into something and reselling it. Yeah. That's different.
I feel like the only way that I would have been, offended is if I told you I wanted 600 and he countered 550, which I wouldn't have taken, but just say I did, and then he really did actually give 600 and you just took the 50. Oh, no, but if you told him a higher price for you to get a little bit, as long as I got what I asked for, I don't care.
If at the kindness of your heart,
I know you wouldn't do that to me. Fine. No, you're not like someone else that we know who's been on my cell phone plan for however long and hasn't paid his fucking cell phone bill in however fucking long, which is partly my fault because I never brought it up again, but he's off my plan now, so.
His cell phone will stop working one day.
No, I called him and told him that I was taking him off the plan. Well, we texted, but.
That would have been funny the other way.
Because you know how my brain works? I just forget shit.
Put me on the cell phone plan.
I just forget shit.
I'm mooching off of you everywhere else. I got your HBO, your Disney. Let me mooch off the cell phone. How much is it? I'll give you half of that. How you doing?
We're not doing half of it. But in other news, cell phone related, which not really podcast conversation, but since all this cell phone stuff is getting straightened out, first of all, I want to bitch a little bit more. I stopped asking this guy so we got on a cell phone plan together. We were roommates. Okay. Because of my job, I get a pretty solid discount. So I was like, hey, I'm going to help you out. You jump on this discount with me. So he only owed me $40 a month for a cell phone plan. Unlimited everything. Unlimited hotspot.
What about me?
I'll
give you $40.
So... No, well, I mean...
Too late now, huh?
Yeah, just...
Is it?
We're just...
Talk about it afterwards.
Yes. And so he got fired from his job, right? And then he was in some dire straits, had to borrow some money from mom and pop. It was bad. So I was like, you know what? I'm making really good money right now. I don't really need the $40 a month. I'm not going to ask him for his $40 a month for a while. Let him get it back on his feet. Motherfucker gets back on his feet. I request the $40 for 3 months after that. He pays it, no problem. And I'm just like, okay, we're back in a rhythm now. This guy's been my friend for a very long time. Everything should be straight. It's been a year and a half since I got a fucking cell phone payment. And I'm sure he thinks that I've forgotten about it. And I know for a fact, it might have been you. He bragged to somebody about the fact that he hadn't been paying me for it and that I hadn't said anything and he was getting away with it.
No, that's probably Austin.
And so, anyways, he's off the cell phone plan now, which means very soon I will be getting a new cell phone, which means very soon we will have a cell phone that we can just use for filming and don't have to do for anything else. So,
thank God. That's a blessing. Mm-hmm. We gotta talk about the cell phone thing afterwards. But anything else in the world we need to talk about? I got a date tomorrow night.
You do?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not really looking forward to it.
Why
kind
not?
Kind of pushy.
I went on a date that I wasn't looking forward to once, but...
Because she was like...
She was pushy?
Yeah. She was like, are you actually going to take me out? I was like, bitch, it's only been 2 days.
This real life person or dating app? Okay.
Hinge, yeah.
Okay.
I got bored on the commode one day, and I was like, hey, let me download this.
Yeah.
There's no YouTube videos to watch, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So she was like, are we going to meet or not? And I was like, shit, I guess so. Why not? So, I don't know. We're going to play some putt-putt. Something cheap.
In all fairness, I mean, I'm sure that she's had plenty of dudes just talk to her, and never actually fucking ask her out. So
I'm scared, though.
What's like, without, obviously giving any, like, of her personal shit away, like, describe her.
She likes going out. She likes traveling.
What kind of going out? Like, going out getting fucked up going out?
I don't fucking know. That's like how, like...
It just says I like going out.
Yeah, that was like, what do you like doing in your free time? I usually go out. Like, that's how, like, not...
That can mean anything.
That's how much we haven't talked.
Go out to eat? Go out to the movies?
That's how much we haven't talked. The only movies she likes are, she likes my movies with De Niro and Pacino. I was like, at least got one thing in common.
Okay.
But, yeah, she's like, oh, I like to be home. I like being out in the world.
Wait, so she literally only likes mob movies?
That I remembered.
Oh.
Her name's Paula, which worries me because we might have the same dad, you know. Paula's a very Italian name.
It is.
She's blonde though. She don't really look Italian.
Did you ask her if she knows how to cook spaghetti?
Nah, she wears dresses. I like dresses.
Oh, that's nice.
If I was a chick,
yeah, dresses are dope.
I'll be in a dress all the time.
Yeah.
Like, fuck the yoga pants. Give me a sundress.
Spaghetti.
In wintertime, I don't know what the fuck I'll wear.
Yeah.
I'll be in dresses all the fucking time if I was a chick. But yeah, I don't know anything about her. So,
well, hopefully you get to learn some things over some miniature golf.
Yeah.
You doing Frankie's or you doing
I'm doing Frankie's.
Party?
Doing Frankie's, a bit more classy.
Yeah.
I don't,
dude. I don't.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, so like we only have 2 mini golf courses. One is at a Frankie's Fun Park, and one is at a driving range.
A Bobo driving range.
And I never thought that I would hear Frankie. I'm taking her to Frankie's. That's the more classy one.
Am I wrong?
And it be true.
3 options.
Yeah, never thought I would hear that sentence and it be true.
It was like that guy we used to work together. Well, that was past me. You told me the story afterwards. You used to work together when we worked together. And the motherfucker's like, oh, I think we'll take this girl out to a nice restaurant. Yeah. Where you taking her? Applebee's.
Yeah.
He's taking her to Applebee's.
Yeah. And, well, after I learned more about that guy's life, I felt really bad about me. Because I was immediately like, that's not a nice restaurant. And then I learned about, his life and how he grew up. And I guess to some people, Applebee's is a treat. But
yeah, but that doesn't make it a nice restaurant.
I guess that's also true.
Like, you can have a perspective and like, this is nice for me.
Well, I was thinking about that, and it's like, okay, so that implies to me that he has taken girls on dates to something that he perceives as a not nice restaurant. Applebee's.
That motherfucker sat down at Zaxby's and was like,
right. But the thing is that like, Applebee's is not much more expensive than fucking Zaxby's. Like,
no, not if you get the 2 for $20.
At most, yeah. Okay, let's just throw the 2 for $20 out, which is an amazing deal, and they got some really good shit on there. But at most, Applebee's is going to be like maybe $4 or $5 more a plate.
But then you respect the tip.
Somewhere else,
and you got like. He might be thinking, man, Shorty wants them cheese sticks.
Shorty want that appetizer.
Shorty get an appetizer from me.
But bringing it back to the 2 for $20, you get an appetizer and a dessert. Yeah, so facts. Like,
fucking
that's a 3-course meal.
The tipping though, he's probably afraid about the tipping.
Maybe, but like,
I don't tip.
Just scribble some shit on there to make it look like you tipped them.
I don't tip,
and like, that's fucked.
Smallest violin, the servers out there.
I don't believe that you don't. I don't believe that you don't tip. First of all, you hardly ever go sit down at a restaurant and eat.
How do you know?
Because I know that you don't go to fucking Applebee's by yourself and just sit there and sit in the restaurant and eat. When?
I get off work. And it's a Saturday because I get paid on Friday.
And you go by yourself.
By myself.
Nobody else goes.
No one's fucking in there anyways. Since I have a couple drunks at the bar, who gives a fuck?
And you do not leave a tip.
No, I don't leave a tip. It's late at night. I get my headphones in. I eat and I leave. I like put my stuff in the. I clean up after myself.
You're fucking scum.
I clean up after myself.
You're scum.
Like, hey, if it's like middle of the day and there's people around, I tip then because the pressure of seeing me not tip.
You know how much servers get paid?
Yes, I date a lot of servers. But then you also got the Denny's. You know, I ain't tipping at Denny's. Fuck Denny's.
I hope that thumbprint on your sunglasses never comes off.
Well, it's your thumb probably. I don't know. These are your glasses. But Denny's, when I go to Denny's late at night, I don't tip at Denny's. I'm definitely not tipping at a fucking Waffle House. The few times I go to sit down at a fucking Waffle House.
Service at Waffle House is incredible.
I'm not tipping there.
Why?
Bro.
What's the difference?
If your job's a fucking casino, if you choose to take a gamble every time you get a fucking table, that is not my fault.
What are you talking about?
Bro, they don't know how much they're going to get tipped. They serve because they think they will get a lot of fucking money. They work that job just to work 2 shifts where they make a lot of money. Because they think, oh, I'm going to get tipped every single time. But not everybody
Because
tips.
they're supposed to get tipped every single time. That's how the system works. That's why they get paid like $2.10 an hour.
Listen,
you're a shit person. Like, you're
fine.
So shitty.
Fine. That's fine with me. I don't care. It's a gamble.
Why don't you tip?
Because I'm poor.
No, you're not. That's bullshit.
I am poor.
That is bullshit. I'm sitting here staring at a stack of fucking steel books. All this shit that's in this room. You are not poor.
A lot of the shit was free, though. Let me see.
You're not.
That was free.
You act like you are broke as shit. No, you are not.
It can be.
You just paid me $100.
Yeah, I didn't know I owed you $100.
Yeah, but the point is that you had $100 to pay me. You're not broke.
That shows that I'm fucking poor. I had to borrow money from you.
You couldn't help the fact that your car got fucking destroyed at one specific point in your time. So yes, for a little while you were pretty broke.
And it needs work now.
You're fine.
The new one. It's got a squeak. Point being is,
you don't need to get the squeak fixed though. It just bothers you.
It's embarrassing.
They specifically told you this is not going to damage your car at all.
When I pull up on that shorty at Arby's getting my 2 for $7 cheese sticks, it's annoying to squeak up there. I want to ask her a number, but it's a squeak, squeak. As I told you, Roddy Ricch is playing. My car plays the beat to Roddy Ricch in the box. That's what it does. I ain't going, can I get your number, shorty? She gonna spit in my food.
She won't give a fuck.
That's gonna be spit on my mozzarella
She
sticks.
works at Arby's. Your car probably squeaks on all 4 wheels.
She bad though. If you go to that Arby's by by the churches, it's now Subway and the U.S. Wings and Deli, 1 across the street from there, late at night, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
She only works Tuesdays and Thursdays?
That's the only time I go.
No.
She bad. Michael Jackson bad.
You need to start leaving $1 at least.
I don't eat out enough. Like, I will do the what you call it thing, the Applebee's thing, like once a month, maybe 2 months. I like a nice steak and a salad with chicken in it.
A nice steak? You ain't getting it at Applebee's, but...
Bruh, I ain't... So, the times that's available for me to eat, Applebee's is the nicest steak I can get at that hour. It's either that or fucking Waffle House steak, and I'm not eating a Waffle House steak.
I forget they even have that shit.
So, when it's fucking 11 o'clock at night, that's the nicest steak you're getting at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know how to cook.
You need to leave $1.
If I knew how to cook, it'd be different. I think you gotta do math.
You need to at least leave him $1.
If I go out with someone, I'd leave a tip. Except on your bachelor party, they had it covered.
Well, that's true.
They make way more money than I do.
They make way more money than both of us. So
fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of them leave a tip. This fucking hair won't go right. But speaking of food, oddly enough, top 5 favorite movies with food in it. The menu is coming out. So we decided to do a food. He'll tell you how the top 5 works, and then we will do our thing.
So he's going to give his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means that if either of us has this, or if we both have the same movie, but one person has it 2 spots or higher on their list, we only talk about it the one time instead of doubling down. because that just takes more time.
Yes. I want to finish that conversation. I got more to say. But I'm not. Number 5 for me, Pig.
Zemeckis.
Number 4 for me, Waiting.
That's not, in my opinion, that is not a movie about food.
It's about a restaurant and the food service industry. And it talks about waitresses not getting tipped.
It does talk about that.
And all this other stuff that when we both worked at a restaurant together, it was a PG-13 version of what that movie is. And because of that, it brings warm memories into the Cockles of Strange Wings heart. Pulling pranks on motherfuckers. Like boss says these lids don't fit. Hey, let's fill up this cocksucker's car. That cocksucker comes out. He's pissed. He's sweeping them in the fucking parking lot. While we're in business, there's customers. The owner's wife comes out. She's yelling at us. Hell no. She's giggling. She's geeking. She's taking pictures. But we gotta clean this shit up. How we clean it up? We put it in garbage bags and throw it into another cocksucker's car because his car doesn't lock.
It's true.
And that was just one example.
Before you got his Estos, people actually played the game.
I don't know what the fuck that is. That missed me. I didn't have good friends, I guess.
No. Like the game that they play in Waiting, where they like come up with a whole point system about how you show your balls to people.
Gross.
In different ways. That. Yeah, people actually played that there.
That was my 5 and 4.
Oh, my number 5. Even by my own personal standards, it was a bit of a stretch. Turns out I haven't seen as many food-based movies as I thought. I thought about Waiting would have been my number 5, but I was like, that movie's not about food. So I went with Stranger Than Fiction, because even though the movie is really about Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson in this book that she's writing, the subplot to all of it is that he is auditing Maggie Gyllenhaal's bakery. So there's this whole other thing about how he's boring as fuck and has this whole ass routine, so he doesn't want to eat one of her like cookies or cinnamon rolls or something. She's always covered in flour, baking shit, and it always looks really, really delicious. So the food does play a very central part to the story, and it's kind of a cop-out, which is why it's my number 5. Number 4 is Julie and Julia. This one's really interesting to me. You ever seen this movie? Okay.
I haven't seen either of those.
Okay, so it's about 2 different women named Julia. One was a famous cook. Yeah. Julie and Julia. One was a famous cook. The other one's a writer. And she kind of goes through this whole thing where she's got a cookbook. So the cook, Julia, when she was alive, she made a cookbook. So this girl's like, okay, I'm going to make every single recipe in this book. And like, I'm going to document, like, I'm going to write about it. And so through it, she develops a really good relationship with the kitchen and cooking, and how making food has like an emotional connection to a lot of people. So it's about how these like 2 women from very different generations connect with each other through recipes, having never met. It's very sweet, very heartwarming. And it's got Meryl Streep in it.
That boy good.
She is. She's very good.
That's your 4?
That was 4.
Number 3 for me is going to be My Friend Dahmer.
That's gross. Although I almost put Fresh on my list. Just
you could have.
Yeah.
Damn, that would have been good. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Silence of the Lambs, but Dahmer's really popular right now, so I went with the more recent joke than the more iconic joke. But it's actually Ratatouille.
Zemeckis.
Goddamn. I heard that song for like the first time in like forever. I don't know if you know that song, Fetty Wap and Drake My Way.
I've probably heard it before.
Drake's like, goddamn. Funny stuff. Heard it in the shower. Number 2, Chef.
Never seen it.
Damn, this movie's so fucking good. It's about director of Iron Man. He's not director of Iron Man in this movie though. He's actually a cook, and he's lost his passion and it really his family because of being this like high class chef. It reminds me of one chef I know, it's an angry little bastard. And he quits. He gets mad. He's like, "Fuck this shit. I don't give a rat's ass." Ratatouille joke. And he says, "I'm done with it." He does his thing for a little while. He opens up a food truck which are very popular now. So you got the trend right there with it, and the recency of it, and everything like that. And he finds his love for cooking again. It reunites. Ha ha. And him and his son have a relationship now. That they've bonded over this. And everything in between. But food is at the center of this movie. And because it was so good of a movie, and I enjoyed it so much, I want to become a chef after watching this. And then I realized I'm a picky eater, and I wouldn't know what tastes good and what tastes bad. So, like, this ain't a damn dino nugget. Get it out of here. I don't want to eat this
Good
shit.
grief. Those two?
Not wrong.
All right.
Yes.
So, my number 3, I debated on this one for a while, but then I was like, excuse me.
I wouldn't fly in a restaurant.
That's true. It wouldn't. So this one, I debated on it for a while, whether or not I was going to consider it a food movie. And what it boiled down to was how do I define food? And ultimately, I chose to define it as something that's edible. You put it in your mouth, and it dissolves, or you swallow it. So this counts. So my number 3, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you?
Pervert.
Well, yeah, you are. You also don't tip, but
at least I'm honest about it.
Yeah, so you're an honest asshole.
Hey, you can trust me to be who I am.
I want to trust you to be better than who you are. It's like the end of a 80s sitcom. But yeah, Willy Wonka, the Gene Wilder one, 1971. This whole movie is about food, but it's about really crazy, wacky food. And it really, there's like a hair floating right there. And like, this world truly is pure imagination. And the fact that some dude wrote a book that inspired this, and then someone was like, hey, in 1971, like, visually, this was incredible. And even today, honestly, it's still pretty visually incredible. Like, everything in that movie is practical. Almost everything in that movie is edible. And it looks delicious. For the most part, based on how the characters are reacting, I would assume it is delicious. Although also dangerous. I really like that movie. It's also weird as shit. And I really like stuff that's weird as shit.
I actually, don't hate the '05 one.
I haven't seen it, so I can't...
Like, who gives a fuck? You know, dude. Like, people hate that movie, and I don't really understand why. Like,
it has a cult following, but...
Now. Because of those kids that grew up with it.
Well, that's how that works. That's how cult followings work.
Yeah,
a movie doesn't come out, and it's just a cult movie. Like...
Yeah, no, I disagree with that.
It's got to earn that shit.
Terrifier 2. Like, that had a cult following, which... Terrifier... And then Terrifier 2 came out because of fans loved that movie so much. A movie that I never fucking heard of until it got all publicity for this movie. And apparently, the studio's putting it in, and it will be counted as one of the movies that can be an Oscar nomination, which you'll probably get it for practical effects and makeup or anything. So it'll probably win an Oscar, which is crazy because it's a fan-funded movie. That was your 2.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. That was 3. Sorry. My number 2... was one of the previous Zemeckis'... Wait, do we leave it? I forget what...
Who gives a fuck? That's my new saying. Who gives a fuck?
Nice. My number 2 is one of the previous Zemeckis sees. It's Pig. Nicolas Cage. He just wants his fucking pig. It finds truffles. He has an emotional connection to it, though. But I did not expect this movie to be as emotional as it ended up being. I had no clue where this movie was going to go, because from the trailer, it could have been like John Wick. Like, and he just goes around, and like the one scene where he does have to fight someone, he literally just lets them beat the shit out of him on purpose to prove a point. So like, and then you find out all this other stuff about him and his past and his relationship to food. And then they have that one scene where they're at the diner and they're talking to the guy, and like Nicolas Cage just they have this whole conversation about the importance of food and how certain bites make them feel and flavors and shit. And I just did not expect this movie to make me feel the way that I felt when I watched it. And it really all just had to do with a bunch of people really loving food.
And that movie is a bootleg, gritty version of Ratatouille. But it's also a good movie.
How?
Bro, we talked about this before. The guy has a pet who helps him cook. He finds truffles. He can't cook without the truffles.
But he doesn't. He doesn't cook.
People can't cook without the truffles. Hey.
That doesn't make any sense.
We talked about it. I'll find the fucking TikTok. Motherfucker, he fucking cooks so good. The asshole in the movie.
Well, you must have explained it a lot better in the TikTok. But
I did. The asshole in the movie, he eats the food that the guy made. It takes him back to a memory.
Okay, yeah, that part.
Pigs and rats are dirty animals.
That specific part is...
Except for the one on Green Acres.
Pigs are actually incredibly clean.
Green Acres, that's a charming motherfucker.
Yeah.
He rolls around in shit all day. I'm with Toronto, Sam Jackson and all that. Pigs are a disgusting animal, but they taste delicious.
Whatever, that movie's
awesome. It's good. It is a good movie, but for the food, it didn't have enough food in it for me. And I didn't think about Willy Wonka, or it wouldn't have made my list.
It would have?
Willy Wonka would have made my list.
Oh, Pig would not have. Big miss.
But it's got, it goes deep into the restaurant thing, so I counted it. Number one for me is Big Night. Big Night is a film about these Italian brothers cooking this dinner. And it's a beautiful story about the love for food and what Italians, they have this way about it, how they care about their food and whatnot. And it has this innocence, this innocent humor about it because how they go about the food and whatnot. And it's Monk. Monk's just an odd looking guy in general. So when he's making these faces about bread and shit, it's just and cheeses, it's fucking hilarious.
Tony Shalhoub. You can never pass up an opportunity to say Shalhoub.
That guy doesn't tip either, I bet. But you got these guys and their conflict in between themselves and the family conflict, and then the guy's wife cheating on them. All these layers. They just come out to be such a beautiful story at the end of the day. And what's in the center of that? Food. They don't like each other, but they gotta cook with each other for the thing. So they're cooking out their feelings, and they're cooking the relationship back together or whatnot. It's a really good movie. Came out in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. Very solid indie cinema from back in the day.
Nice.
It's about Italians. I'm Italian, so
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's great stuff.
But I do remember the first time you watched it because you were really stoked about it.
Yeah.
And you told me about it. My number one is the other Zemeckis, which is Ratatouille.
Great fucking movie.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie. And it's literally just all about food.
That's correct.
It is about the complexity of food. It is about the simplicity of cooking. Literally. Anyone can cook. That's what he says. And then you got the snobby guy, and he gets taken back to... So, the point is every single person on the planet has a nostalgic connection to some food. Yes. Everyone does. Because there is something that we ate when we were younger, or something that, we had an experience with somewhere that just sticks with us. And when you eat that shit again, you are right back in that spot. And that is really what the movie is all about. It's just, how food and cooking and flavor is just another thing on this world that helps unify people. It helps for some people it is therapeutic, for some people it is passion, for some people the shit just tastes good. But it's something that everyone enjoys its existence. Even if you don't enjoy cooking itself, you enjoy food. Because we have to. Yeah. But
if they made a pill that would give me the nutrients of food, I would go without food.
Yeah, I believe you. But there's still foods that you love.
Yeah, for sure.
I
might eat once a week.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah,
Mr. Sometimes I just want a nice steak.
Yeah.
You said that. That's what you said.
I did. Not often, but you need a little red meat in your life. I'm just going to say ditto because he said it so beautifully. I don't want to say anything else to ruin what he said about Ratatouille. So ditto.
2 little rat thumbs up.
Yeah, sure. On the thumbnail, it looks like Ratatouille's patting John Wick on the back. It's amazing.
Nice.
But anyways, that is the show for this week. Actually, I thought about it when you was talking about. I was thinking about foods that brought me back. I was thinking about all these foods. One food I hated as a child. And it's not really a food; it's a candy. The Nickelodeon Wonder Balls.
Oh.
That chocolate ball with like sweet tarts in them.
Yeah.
So fucking nasty. Sweet tarts with chocolate little residue on it. So fucking gross.
Yeah.
I was one and done.
They weren't that great.
No.
But I still,
like, I still cracking the ball open.
I still hear the song in my head though. That's how like big of a thing those were in the 90s.
Like it's so fun cracking the ball open.
What's in a Wonder Ball?
And then you eat it, and it's like disappointment. That's what's in the Wonder Ball.
Well, I was always just disappointed with how few pieces were actually inside the Wonder Ball as well.
Yeah, there's like 4.
It was like, this is not a huge deal at all.
No, it's not at all. Speaking of candy, though, went to Five Below. They got sour candy on deck. They got Warhead shit, sour strings. They used to have a row of like elite sour candy. I love sour candy. That's the only kind of candy I want. Fuck out of here, Lifesavers.
We should do a candy bracket.
That next week. That's it.
We're arguing. We're going to argue about that a lot. So
So
it'll be entertaining.
I don't really eat chocolate. You know, you mean a Kit Kat, fuck out of here, Reese's.
Well, that's the thing.
Hershey's,
is anytime it's chocolate versus something else, I'm probably going to pick. Like, we're going to play so much rock, paper, scissors next week.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Tell us down in the comment section, thoughts and opinions, etc. What's your top 5, etc. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.